Hello everyone. Sarah here. Thank you so much for joining me for a Craft Roulette card. I am running out of time, but I thought that I would try to waste more time by creating a video of me drawing a card and have some fun with this. So I'm going to make a very simple card today, and the parameters I need to work on, I have them written down here. I have an A2 size, which is easy peasy. And then we have donut shop, which is just the colors, dolly, and purse and pocket. So what I'm thinking is that I'm going to be creating, my pocket's going to be in combination with the donut. I think I heard someone use this and I'm totally going with it. I don't know who did it, so I just happened to skim through, and they said that a donut has a pocket if you have filling in it. So that's what I'm going to be working on. And I'm going to make a very simple drawing just to see if I can get this done in time. It's 7 o'clock right now, PS Pacific time. And I have until 10 o'clock. So when it comes to drawings like this, I have an idea in my head, and I kind of just take a pencil. This is just a regular big pencil. No, it's not. It's Staples, but it's the same idea of mechanical pencil. And I just start making some sketches. And so what I'm going to try to do is stick in the center here, and I'm going to create a dolly. This is not a toy. It's not to do with Dolly Parton. Both great things. This is just going to be one of those more simple drawings where it's a dolly that carts stuff. And who is going to be using this dolly? I'm going to bring in my robot here. And so the reason I'm going to use this is because I kind of got used to drawing him. I really like my little robot guy. He's kind of fun. I think he's my robot mascot. And I'm just going to do a very subtle drawing here and make a nice thing about robots is that they can have crazy arms, long arms. It doesn't really matter. And we got them holding the guitar, or the little handles right like that. Now his head's a little bit too small for that body, so I'm just going to increase it. This is why I use pencil. And there we go. I might just kind of fix this up a bit. And the nice thing about my robot also is that it has very basic shapes, so I don't need to worry about it. And this is going to be a very small drawing. I'm purposely making it small. I'm going to try to make sure that this is lined up, so I can either kind of just make the body bigger, a little bit bigger, and then I can bring the legs down. And the legs are and the feet are going to be kind of like little humps. There we go. This is looking pretty good. I mean, it's quite messy, but this is just this rough sketch. And of course, I'm also rushing making it. So now, what is he going to be carrying? Well, he's going to be carrying a big giant donut. And so it's not going to be a perfect circle because it's going to be sitting on top of this, this dolly. And you got to have the icing on there. And this is going to be a filled one because this is going to be my pocket, because the donut is filled with cream. And just to make it look like it's more of a donut, I'm going to kind of just draw a little swirl here. Yes, like, no, I need some more. I'm going to get some more. And like that, and then maybe like that. So I'm going to try to make it a little more flowy, because when you're doing this icing, usually you're kind of going in and out. Like if you do icing, you don't want to make it too perfect, so you kind of just flowing with it like that. This is pretty messy, so I'm just going to kind of clean this up just to make sure, because I'm going to be going over this with a black pen. And I want to make sure that I have the right lines to do this. I kind of think this is fun to just show you how I create my cards when I'm drawing. It's usually just an idea that pops in my head and I just kind of play with it. Nothing ever makes any sense, but that's the fun part of doing your own illustrations. It doesn't need to make any sense. It all makes sense up in here, and that's the fun part. So I'm going to be using a micron pen this time. Play with the big thick one. No, this is a small image, so I'm going to focus on number 2. So these only 2 I have of this brand, and I'm going to maybe zoom in a bit just so you can kind of see. I might move this around so it's going to kind of get dizzy maybe, but let's start with my robot. Nice thing is I don't need to worry about too much detail because it's small. And so you can kind of hide most of that detail there. And there's his neck. And I'm going to create his body. I gotta make sure his arm is there. I'm going to try to smooth that out. And there's one arm. And then another extra long arm. His hands there. And then we'll just close that body off. Now, normally when I'm doing this, I forgot to do this, but it's such a small image. I kind of just go into like shapes like this. So I'm going to do it for its arms. And the reason I do it this way is because if you do it afterwards, then you don't get those lines. Like you can't, it's harder to make it look like they are separate pieces. And this robot, so I'll show you. Yeah, can you see yet? I'm going to, you can tell that it's just a straight line, which is not bad. It just doesn't have the same effect as the nice chunks there, those segments. And then he has nice circular eyes like that. There we go. There's my little robot. Now let's go for the dolly. There is a handle here that he's holding onto. And like I said, it's such a small image, you can get away with it not looking completely fine. And there's my wheel. And I'm just going to draw a simple little shape here. This is a very basic dolly. I was thinking about adding, because I have these, I already did that. I accidentally opened this upside down in the week earlier, and I had to put it all back together again. So this was all dumped up upside down. So I gotta make sure. Oh no, I'm doing it again. Oh shoot. Okay. This is a very confusing packaging. Okay, I almost did it again. It took me an hour or so to get that all back together again. And I will not be doing it twice. So I was thinking that I have so many of these that I would just add one of these as a gem in the center, because it's just going to match the, I might do that as donut colors. I thought these were kind of donut colors. And I really want to use up some of these button galore or more embellishments that I keep gathering. Now here's my distorted donut here, and I'm not looking for a perfect circle. This is going to be squished against the dolly here. And then we have this is where the filling gets put in. And then for my icing, this is going to be on top, so I'll do that one first. So I'm just going to kind of just free flow that using the pencil lines kind of as a guide, just to guide me. And then the filling is going to be maybe chocolate. It's going to be not perfect icing, and that's the way I like it. Okay, so next I will just kind of erase all this off. And I still need a sentiment for this. I wonder if I should leave the line. I wonder if the line was okay. Don't know if I like the line. Not sure. You know what? Maybe I'll just use markers to kind of add it. We'll see. So let's just double check. So I have a Dolly, the pocket, the pocket of jam. I think it's gonna be a Boston cream, to be honest. A2 and donut shop colors. Okay. So with that, I'm gonna see if I can actually hand print a sentiment here. What am I gonna write? I'm gonna write. What did I say? Have a sweet birthday? Have a sweet birthday. Oh man, that's huge. Have a sweet birthday. That's a scribble. Okay. I'm going to see if I can just kind of... I'm going to write down first on here with pencil and see if it looks okay. If it does, then I can go over it with the black. Try to go... Have a sweet birthday. Okay, so that's a little bit off. So if I move it over a tiny bit more, and I think that's, what if I do it here? Have a sweet, and I'm just not worrying about, I'm going very light, so I'm not adding too much indentation to this paper. I just want to make sure that is that, I think that's okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do, this is going to be interesting. Handwriting is not easy with a shaky hand with the camera on, but I'm going to try. I'm going to go over a little bit more. I kind of have the gist of what I want, and I'm going to use the number the 8, and just double check. It's going to look like this. So it is a little bit shaky. That's the problem with yeah, the more you practice, the more it gets, the easier it gets, sorry. But it's all hand drawn, so a nice crisp font always looks so nice. I never really am happy with my handwriting on the sentiments. It's okay, but a crisp font just screams professional. That's why when you print a sentiment or use a stamp, it always looks so nice. But here we go. Okay, we're going to do this. Take our time. We're not in a rush, right? We have all the time in the world. Have a sweet... I find if you rush it, that's where you make mistakes. Especially when you get near the end and you start getting excited that it's almost done, then you rush it. But just take your time. One line at a time. And I see now. It's a little crooked. It's a little crooked. erase the pencil line. And there we go. We have a simple little have a sweet birthday. Now, if it bothers you that things are crooked, the easy trick is just to grab your T-ruler, put a line down, and then right on top of that line, because these are all uppercase, so it's nice. It'll be very easy to get on those lines. And don't write on an angle like this. Maybe write straight. But whatever, it is okay. Now, what I'm going to do is color it very, very basically. Very basic. There we go, 3 and 5. I'm not going to do the really dark. What I would love doing is doing black to a color. I just love it. Really creates some emphasis. But not today. This image is way too small. So to start it, I'm just going to color the whole thing the lightest gray, just so I have a base coat. Okay. There we go. And he's on gray. And then I'll bring in my darker color. I'm just going to do C5 for now, or CG5. And we'll just focus on his little mouth here. And then this little neck and along his head. And then maybe just on the edge and on down his back. I'm going to see the light's going to be coming this way as best that I can. And usually I do something different for the legs, but let's keep it simple. I'm just going to kind of, because each one of these little segments needs to have a little shadow on it. And that also means here too, because I kind of want to give that illusion that they're not connected as one line. So if you add the shadows to each piece, then you're kind of creating that, oh, there is separation. There's like a overhang or something on there that's making it so it's creating a shadow. And then we'll just bring in this is CG3. So I'm just going to kind of go over it lightly, just over the CG5 and extending it a little bit. My markers are extremely juicy. I have to be very careful. For some reason, some of mine they will drip if I'm not careful, but this is not looking too bad. I'm not sure if it's a temperature thing or it's just the way I use it. Now he's pretty smooth, so there's not going to be a nose or anything. So I don't need to worry too much about that. And then CG1, just to kind of get the rest of that in there, kind of go around the arms, blending in. I'm going to cover most of the CG0 that was there. Very simple coloring. And I'm okay. Actually, no, I'll just bring in the CG0, just to smooth it out. And if I want to go back over it, I can darken it, but I'm really keeping this simple. Really, like, not, well, I shouldn't act like I'm a professional colorist, to be honest, but I'm going to just talk like I am. I'm not going to make it a very perfect blend and all that. I just want it to be a very simple coloring. For the eyes, let's go blue. Let's go blue. He's happy today. So I'm going to do a B22 if I find it. I'm in the middle of coloring some images, and so my markers are everywhere. I don't have a stand, unfortunately, so I don't have them all nice and displayed so I could just take them out and put them in. It's all just on my desk. And I'm afraid to move my camera to show you just because it took me a while to get this perfectly centered. However, I keep looking in the corner here where my image is instead of the camera. So that's going to be something I need to practice on too. There's always something to improve on. And so I will say, unrelated to this, always push yourself to do something uncomfortable, something different, something changed. Just break your routine up. I really recommend it. It's hard. There's many days where I doubt everything that I do, and I'm always so close to just closing everything down. And I think everyone has that. And so just knowing you're not alone and that taking chances is okay. And it's actually quite healing. Because every time you do it, you get more confident. There we go. Hang on, a little bit dark blue. This is just the B24. And then what that's done is it's just created, see how it's just the eyes, just a little bit more color there. Okay, so my Dolly is also going to be gray. But I don't want it to be the same. No. I'm going to make a... I did say I was going to bring one of these in. Do I want to do blue because my robot's eyes are blue? Can't really tell in this light. It's actually blue. It's kind of cute. You know what? Whatever. Whatever. I gotta do it. Okay, so let's see if we can find like maybe a brown. Let's just do a nice neutral brown here. Maybe like an 073. And we're just going to do a nice neutral brown here over the hands, and there we go. I can move this for now. And then I'll just create, I don't think I need to fill this in. I think it's okay if there's white showing around it. What do you think? That's not centered, but I think that the white's okay. We'll color the rest and we'll see how it goes. And then so maybe a little bit darker shadow. I might just do a warm gray. Number 5, maybe a warm gray. Let's see, because that's kind of just around the tires here, maybe along the, oh, this is a juicy one, I think. Nope, okay, that's good. And then like that. And I'll bring the 7.5 and I'm just going to blend that. Just go back over. Because this line is so skinny. I find that Olos are, because they're a little bit juicier, getting that fine line is a little bit harder. If that was a Copic, I can get right in there. But I think they might be coming with bullet tips. Maybe that would help with those more fine lines. Okay, now we got our donut. And to get the when I think donuts, I think bright colors. So I'm going to be making this icing. I'm thinking a pink, like a bright pink. But I need it to be a donut. It's chocolate. If it's bright pink, do I want chocolate icing or white icing? I'm trying to visually see here. Let's start with RV02. And we'll just, because I can also, I think if I did chocolate icing with pink swirl, it'll get lost. So if I do a pink with a white and then the brown, yeah, let's do that. So it's not going to be per se a chocolate donut because the icing is pink. But you know what? Maybe it's pink, white chocolate icing. You know, you can, there are so many flavors of donuts. It's just, the sky's the limit. And if you go to like a specialty bakery, there's some that are around here. They will even have their own concoctions, like their own fancy flavors, and they throw all these wonderful items on top of them. There's like a graham cracker, Rocky Road one where it's just marshmallows and graham crackers all thrown on top of this gooey, delicious donut. So anything anything is possible. As long as it's sweet and delicious, you're good when it comes to donuts. And so now I'm wondering if I should just bring in my, if the 042, oh, that's not it. 043. That might be a good donut color. And this is called Lioness. Ooh. So if we do that, yeah, that's a good donut. That's a good base donut right here. Then we can add some shadowing and shading to kind of. I got someone Facebooking me. I know who it is. I just don't want to say their name, just for privacy purposes. But here we go. That's a good donut color. I like that. And then, so now what I can do is I can probably bring in my 4-6 and I can, kind of follow where the icing is to give it some dimension. Now, like I said, this is a small image, so you don't need to worry too much. It's just to give it a little bit of shading. And I'm kind of following just on top of the line so that it's not too thick. And then, you know what, this is a little bit more, a little bit thicker. Over. And then we'll have it around here because this is where the indentation is. You usually poke it to get the jam in there. And this cream is going to be Boston cream. And then I'm going to put it on the bottom too, and I'm going to kind of just lift it up a bit because it is a rounded item. And it's squished here, so this is going to be more dark down here. I'm just going to try and tailor that off, kind of like that. And then what I can do is I can bring in my 4-3 back in again. And I'm just going to smooth out these lines. I'm not going to go over the whole thing. I just want to smooth out or blend out just where I went over lightly with the 046, I think it was. Following the bottom because you're going to get that rounded effect. And this is a little bit more. Now if you wanted, you could bring in another color. Like I'm technically only using 2 colors here for the donut. That's squishy there. There we go. I'm going to try something. I'm going to do an R24. I'm going to try something. This is not as bright. And it's a little bit duller. I want to see what it looks like. So R24, that is raspberry. Oh, perfect. Raspberry donut. And I'm just going to follow. Yeah, so it's not as black as I normally would because shadows are usually darker. But it's also not as bright as like RV04. And not too bad. I like this. I'm just kind of making it so that the icing has a little bit of, like the strippy icing, I went over the line, has a little bit of height to it. Because it's usually this type of icing is not flat on a donut. It's usually made, at least whenever I've made it, it's like with royal icing. So it has a little bit of, it doesn't lose its shape. It's usually this nice swirl. And that's why when I said when you kind of just go like this with your icing, you get this beautiful natural curve to it, which is not this. But that's okay. And the shading on this is not making so much sense, and that's okay too, because it's just having fun. Sometimes we're so hard on ourselves trying to get the perfect design, the perfect card, and it's okay just to let loose and just play, right? And I say these words because I need to tell myself this too. So it's not something that I'm just freely saying for no reason. It's well, that's too late. It has a little bit of merit to it. Okay, so I'm going to try something else. This is going to be interesting. I'm going to do an R23 just around the shadowing here, and I want to add a little bit of red to it. just kind of blending it out as my second shadow shade. And this is where I'm going to kind of bring it in. And I honestly don't know what I'm doing. I just picked these colors because they looked okay. And I wanted to play. So I'm just going to use it as my second shadow. And it's going to be a different shade, but also go over the one that's already there. And the reason I'm going so crazy, I'm actually not touching the page that much. I'm trying to be very careful. I'm trying to get thin lines. That's the only reason it looks like I'm going sporadic all over the card. Just trying to make sure that I get a thin line, but it's a little bit hard. So that's kind of fun. It's just creating, it's adding a little bit of red to this card, this picture. And so I'm going to try an R53. So it's coming back into the pinkish color. And this one is Dusty Rose. And I'm just going to do the same thing. Just kind of go back over the shadows. Testing it first. I'm not just going to willy-nilly go right over my pink. I want to test it in a non-conspicuous area so that it's not going to be noticeable if I'm like, oh boy, no. There we go. Okay. And then for the white, I want this to be stark white, so I might have to bring in my... I might bring in the CG3. And this is going to be just on the one side. Trying to get a thin line here. It's going to come here, and it's going to be on this side again. And then on this side again, because you don't want to do it on both sides, otherwise you lose that dimension. And then on this side again. And that's not too noticeable, but noticeable enough. I colored over the lines. That's okay. Because what you can do, when you're all done, this is not just for adding shine, which you can. I don't think I'm going to because I already have a big white spot here. But you can also just cover those mistakes here. Like that. That's so cute. Oh, that's so cute. And then let's not forget the little gem here. And just so that I can say I use my Buttons and Galore More subscription box. I always have best intentions, but I just never, yeah, that's okay. Okay, so we'll just put that right in there. That's so cute. Okay. What I wanted to try was a little bit of shadowing under the feet. That's what I'm going to do. So this is where you might wreck it. This is where I might wreck it. And when I say wreck it, it just means it's a learning experience and we just move forward with it. So I'm going to start, when I'm not certain with something, I'm going to start with the lightest color. And it's going to be black, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my CG1 and I'm just going to play it safe. Right? Not bad. So then, now that I know that's not looking too bad, I mean, that's a little bit thicker, but I'm going to bring in my dark, and I just love doing this. I just love adding darkness. And I'm just going to do very little, following just along the point of contact, because that's where it's going to be the darkest. I'm going to take my next CG7 and I'm not going to go much further. I'm just going to touch. Now this is getting juicy, so I just have to be careful. Because I'm doing such fine things, I really don't want it to bleed on me, so I'm just going to be cautious. And just kind of put like that. And then I will take my CG5. Oh, this one's funny. On a side note, while I'm looking for my things, I bought the new color. And this one's Pink Lotus. And they sold out. The store I bought from sold out of the actual pen. So I said, oh, no worries. I have an extra nib. So I'll just buy the refill and everything's fine. But I forgot that when you buy a refill, you don't actually get the cap. So now I can't use that color. But I will buy it. I just have to remember to do that. But I thought that was it's a good reminder to everybody to don't buy, oh, there it is. Don't buy the refill if you haven't bought the the marker first. You'd think that'd be common sense. I thought I'd beat the system. But nope. Okay, now I'm just going to do the same thing and I'm going to extend it a little bit further. Not too much, because you can always go back and do more. Take my number 3, CG3, kind of going down. And then when it gets to these ones, then, you know, you can really spread that out. It's going to dry. And what you want to do is kind of, when you're getting to the end, just try to do as thin as possible, kind of get that. Oh, that's pretty good. There we go. There we go. That's that. I don't know. Do I want it to be... Let me just zoom back out. There we go. Do I want it just to be a total front, or do I want a layer? I think it's just... I think I'm going to give it a layer. So I'm just going to... What I'm going to do is just take a little bit off of each side. So I'm going to do... Just, I'm not sure what that is. But I'm trying to center this as much as possible. And then just making sure, because I think there might be more space on the bottom here. So let's trim the bottom of this, and we'll go there. How's that look? That's looking pretty good. That's looking good. I like that. I like when things work out. Now, still looking kind of... I wonder if I should just add I might add a matte layer, or... grab some of my colored cardstocks. This is what I use for my matting. So I could have it on a piece of pink cardstock. That's kind of cute. You know, I'm trying to keep it pretty simple. I don't want it to be too many flashy layers. That's nice. Ooh, I like that. I think that's what I want, right? I think that's what we'll do. I want to create a very basic, clean design. So I'm going to just stick with this and just keep moving. Don't guess too much, you know. Just keep going and always be happy with what you create, because every little thing you create is an expression of you, and if it doesn't turn out how you want it, it doesn't mean it's bad at all. It could just you could just be not feeling it, but someone else might love it, right? So always remember to just be kind to yourself when you're crafting, and just enjoy the process and have fun with it. So there we go. This is an A2 size card. Donut shop colors. So you got my pink and some blues, my Dolly, and my purse. My pocket is my donut. This is definitely a much longer video for Craft Roulette submissions, so I'm not sure if I'll submit it on Craft Roulette, but if you're not familiar with Craft Roulette, it is a game show that happens every Friday, almost every Friday, and it's with Mary, the host, and a guest, and what she does is she spins the wheel to pick 4 parameters, and here they are. So here's our project, our colors, an element, and then the random. So the guest and Mary do not know what they're going to be creating on Friday, and it'll be done live, and people are just having a lot of fun throwing their encouragements and their ideas, and it's such a lovely place to be. And so if you're not familiar with it, definitely go check them out. I'll put all the information in the description box below so that you don't get lost along the way. So I hope you enjoyed this very simple card. I did make it in time. It's only 7:51 and I have until 10. So maybe I can find some other things I can throw on it. I probably won't. I want to keep it nice and simple. And this is simple as I can probably make it. So until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you enjoyed this and have a great week. And I'll talk to you all later. Take care. Bye.